Hi guys, in today's video I'm going to be sharing my March setup. I want to keep it simple and decided to do this black and white starry night theme inspired by this video by LeahLouuLettering. I'll have her channel linked below. The black paper that I'm using is by Strathmore. It's their black mixed media paper, and I'm using a Sakura white jelly roll in size 10. To make the stars, I'm first making medium-sized dots, and then I make larger elongated diamond shapes, and then I do fine dots to fill in the space, and I'm also making clusters of fine dots just to give some variety and because I think it looks nice. And then in the end, I also add some shooting stars, and in a minute you'll see a close-up. Moving on to the other side of the page, I'm using my Tombow brush pen. I'm using the finer tip to outline the letters, and then I'm going to go in and use the brush tip to fill it in. As you can see, I was originally going to have holes in the A and R, but I thought it would look better without it, so I just colored everything in, and then after that I'm using the Tombow Mono Pen to go over it because the ink is just a little bit darker and I like that look. I also will go over these white dots later on. I decided I didn't like how they looked, so I go over it with the Mono Pen to make the March letters black again. But after that, I'm just gluing down the black paper and then moving on to the next two pages. These two pages are for my monthly calendar. I like using a bigger calendar here because this is where I will put my bill due dates, my paycheck due dates, and also any hours that I work at work. I keep a record in this bigger calendar, and I will also put any known appointments that I have here. And then I'm using my Mono fine liner in size 3 to make this tasks box above the calendar. And here I will just write any tasks that I know that have to be done by the end of the month but don't have a specific due date. I already made these strips of the Starry Night pattern to go around the calendar, so I'm just gluing down the longer piece first. And I like how that looked. I ended up not using the second piece because I thought it looked a little weird. So in the place of that, I just decided to do a box titled Notes. You could miss it. These two pages are for my budgeting spreads. So on the right hand side, I have a full page dedicated to logging my expenses. And then on the right hand side, the boxes that I'm making right now, these 3 are for my paychecks. The bigger box on the other side is for a monthly budget. And then the box below that is just a breakdown of all the purchases I end up making throughout the month. I just categorize them into preset categories that I use, like groceries, personal, gas, transportation. I keep these 2 spreads basically the same in all my monthly setups. This is just how I like to organize my finances in my bullet journal. I do want to do a full video explaining more in depth how I use them, what I use them for, and also all the other apps and things that I use for budgeting and finance. But right now, I'm just writing the titles for the columns that I created. I used the black Mono Pen to black it out, and then I'm going over that in the Sakura white jelly roll. I'm using the Mono Pen again to make the lines for the expense log. I don't typically use a ruler, but I do for these two lines here just because they're so close together that they're not really forgiving for any mistakes. But I don't use it for any of the other lines I make. And then I'm going to use my Tombow Mono Pen to, once again, black out the title columns, and then I'll use the Sakura Jelly Roll to go over that and write the titles. So this first column here is for the date of the expense. The second column is for the amount. The dot is just so I can mark whether or not I paid it on my credit card. Then I have the category of the expense, the payment method of the expense, whether it was cash, debit, credit, and then a comment. The next page I'm working on is my habit trackers. I have 3 habits that I really want to focus on this month. So they each have a mini calendar sticker, so they're separated. And then for the other habits I track, I have a mind graph that I use, and I just make a dot by each day that I do that habit. The stickers that I'm using are from a YouTuber called Plant-Based Guide, both the white stickers and then the translucent 1 to 31 strip on the black piece of paper. And then the next page, I just called it "A Song a Day Keeps Depression Away." But basically, I'm just going to be writing down a song every day that makes me feel good. And so by the end of the month, I can have a playlist of songs that make me happy. And these final 2 pages are just for the first weekly spread of March. I just want to keep it simple, so I just use black lines to separate the days. And then I used a piece of black paper and my white jelly roll to write the days of the week. I also have a small calendar in the corner here that you can see. I have it stuck using washi tape, and that's just so I can take it out week to week and transfer between the pages. So I always have a reference. And below the calendar, I just have a space to write tasks that I want to get done that week. Okay, here's my final flip through. Thank you for watching the video, and I hope you have a good month.